complete with twin mattresses, pillows, and a pilot who wears noise-canceling earphones. So Love Cloud is a new company that you can take part in. Number one, what do you think of the concept? Number two, when are you booking a flight for you and Sandy?
I'll take a bottle of anything in a glazed donut to go as we record episode 84 of the Promo Upfront podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Bill Petrie. With me, as always, the major domo of morphing mascots, the one and only Kirby Hassam. And Kirby, how the vest are you? You're wearing a vest. A little chilly.
Yeah, I'm doing well. I got a little sniffles here and a little cough, but I'm good. Feel good. It's just that, you know how it is this time of year. I've been outside a lot in the winter weather. And so I've got a little cold going on, but other than that, I'm actually doing really well. As you and I talked about, and I've written about, I've sort of made my decision not to complain anymore about the cold weather. It's just going to be what it's going to be. And when it'll make me appreciate when it gets warmer. So I am doing well. How about you, bud?
I'm great. I'm going to do you a favor. I'm your friend. We've been very close friends for a long time. I'm going to complain for you. I'm tired of the cold weather, Kirby. Let's get rid of the cold weather. I'm ready for spring too. Things are super, super busy. I feel like it's one of those weeks where everything's just kind of culminated into work, not complaining at all. I love that. It energizes me. Sometimes it can be overwhelming, but that's just kind of life sometimes. And when I'm thinking of how can I offload things, I always look at, are there other companies that maybe can do things for me, help me out? And I think we might have an idea for some distributors who feel overwhelmed and maybe don't have an effective marketing tool to help them out. And you know who I'm talking about, Kirby, don't you?
I do. It's our gang at Promo Pulse, right?
That's right. It's already February, Kirby. Are you ready to amp up your sales?
Who's not?
Okay. Well, by the way, if anybody answered that question with a no, you might want to find a different business to be in. Okay. It is already February. So since you answered yes, it's really time for you, dear distributor listener, to start leveraging those amazing AMP marketing tools from the brilliant and twisted mind of Jason Noakes over at Promo Pulse. AMP is a single source email and social media marketing solution for your business. Kirby, you used AMP. What has your experience been briefly, please?
Yeah, no, I think one of the things we talk about is set it and forget it, right? Like once you pick your suppliers, you sort of pick your frequency, and then your marketing and your sales activities just happen. And I think when you work with any business, the whirlwind can often take you away from doing that on a consistent basis. And Jason's platform helps you regulate that and keep the sales flowing.
Yeah, no question. I mean, honestly, that's great. That's a great testimonial, and I take your word for it, but I can't guarantee everybody's going to take your word for it, Kirby. Let's get an unsolicited testimonial from Becky Duckett at Robin Promotions in Oklahoma. Her quote: "I'm a huge fan of AMP. It's always great to receive requests for quotes from our AMP email campaigns, but I received my favorite request recently when we were asked to quote on a featured pen. Nice. My client loved the piece and their logo on the product so much they increased the quantity and placed an order that resulted in a $10,000 plus sale." That's success, kids. You talk about a no-brainer, there's your no-brainer. So head over to promopulse.io/AMP, A-M-P. You're not going to be sorry you did. All right, Kirby, let's light this candle, as you like to say. Let's get right to the promo upfront topic.
Yep.
And this is kind of an overarching one for the industry and also a personal one, I think, for both of us. Jason Lukash, who was the chief business development, chief marketing officer, chief new product idea guy, and main person who's really, along with Mike Simzak, we'll get to Mike as well, but one of the two people that really have transformed how the promotional products industry runs from a supplier standpoint has chosen to leave Hub Promotional Group. For those of you who don't know, Jason Lukash and his business partner, Mike Simzak, started Org Audio quite a long time ago, I believe 2009, entered the corporate gifts market or promotional products industry around 2012. I had the honor to work with them back in my consulting days, right as they were getting into the promotional product space. They were dumb enough to hire me, and they're dumb enough to hire me and help them kind of really understand the space, help them with sales, marketing, logistics, you name it. And I had worked with them for about a year and a half, and we became good friends. So we've stayed in contact, and obviously seen what Jason and Mike have done. They sold Org Audio to Hub Promotional Group. They rebranded Hub Promotional Group.
Right.
That was led by Jason. They rebranded, or they acquired a web company, rebranded that to Moxie or Mixie. I'm sorry, Mixie.
Yep. But it took some Moxie to do that.
It did take Moxie to do that. Launched Batch and Bodega and a lot of other things. Kirby, what is the legacy? Well, tell me your thoughts about Jason leaving. Did it surprise you? Let's go ahead and start with that. And then tell me what you think his legacy is in the industry.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it does and it doesn't, right? Surprise me. So I would say anytime that an entrepreneur sells a business to a larger organization and then tries to fold themselves into that, honestly, he worked with Hub longer than I thought he would, or at least more forwardly. And, like he is clearly definitely involved and has his fingerprints all over a lot of that. And so it caught me off guard when I finally saw the announcement. So yes, it surprised me, but the idea that him leaving doesn't surprise me, if that makes any sense. Yeah. And then
absolutely,
in a word, his legacy in the industry is innovation. Like when I think of what him and Mike did with Org Audio, it really did reframe many of our expectations, and certainly from the distributor world. And then it leaked into the supplier side. And then it was funny once they developed that reputation, what was funny to me is like when Batch and Bodega came out, the way it was described to me is they would, like the multi-line rep or the salesperson would explain it, and I'd go, all right. And they go, oh, this was Jason Lukash's creation. And everybody went, oh, tell me more. He had such a reputation for that innovation and going, okay, well, if Jason had his fingers on it, it's going to be different. It's going to be innovative. So that would be my take on his legacy.
Agreed. And I think part of his legacy too is, and I remember the conversation, I remember sitting in Huntington Beach, California, and they were growing so rapidly back then, quite literally. And Mike and Jason would tell you this, every 10 months or so, they were looking to move. They were growing that rapidly. I mean, you talk about rapid expansion and growing pains, and witnessing how they did all of that was truly amazing. And I remember one conversation, because they had a retail brand that they brought into promo. Org Audio was designed initially to be a retail brand.
Yep.
But the margin just wasn't there for them, because they were in Bed Bath & Beyond, if I remember correctly, with their foldable speakers, and the margin just wasn't there for them. And I remember he was saying, I'm getting a lot of grief because we have Org Audio on our backpacks and on our speakers. And I remember saying, I think you have a brand. And not that it was my idea. I was just kind of reinforcing what Jason already wanted to do. And I think he was looking really more, Jason and Mike wanted to do. I think they were really looking more, does the industry have tolerance for this? Because people were complaining that it shouldn't be any other brand but this brand. And I think the legacy is they showed, Mike and Jason showed, you can take a brand and create a brand that clients want. They'll ask for by name. Yeah, that's a legacy. I think packaging is a legacy. I looked at the juice box, which I wish I might have one right over there. I'm not going to go run and pick it up. I've run just out of reach. But the juice box, what an amazing concept that was. Jason and Mike were the real rebels when I look at the 2010s. Yeah. And right now Jason's getting a lot of love, and he should, and we're going to miss Jason and miss his innovation, have no idea what he's doing next. Right. But in this conversation, I think it's important for every single person to remember Mike Simzak had his hands in every bit of that too. Right. Without both the duo, it doesn't happen. It's kind of like this podcast. You would be very good at doing a podcast. You've done podcasts by yourself. You do them now. I've done them. I'd be very good, but it would not be the same. Yeah. So the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Really going to miss Jason. I'm going to miss hanging out with him and talking to him, but you never know where he's going to reappear again. I have no idea, but nothing would surprise me. But real quick, like you, I figured it was about 18 months at Web, some sort of, at HPG, some sort of earn out and peace out. But he stayed a lot longer and kept doing some really great things.
Yeah, it was fascinating to see the things that he took on. I remember when he worked on rebranding sort of the Hub Pen line, and like,
Yep.
I was like, that wouldn't be something I would think that would really get his juices flowing, but it clearly did. And so, yeah, and I think, I don't want to talk about it like it's his eulogy, and I think you kind of alluded to that. Like, I think many of us are curious to see what's next for Jason, and certainly wish him the best. That's going to be cool, whatever it is.
My sense of Jason is curious is what's next. I think he just kind of wanted, he's been running and gunning for a long time. Really good conversation. We wish Jason the best, and we're glad that Mike's still in the industry. And Mike is still, I believe he's the Chief Business Development Officer over at Hub Promotional Group, and that legacy lives on with a great guy in Mike Simzak. So, all right, Kirby, got another topic for us?
Yeah, this one might be a quick one. I've got a bunch of topics today. So, so Amazon is big. I don't know if you knew that.
No, it's a big rainforest in Central America.
Yeah, well, among the ginormous numbers, I thought there's a couple that jumped out at me. Amazon has doubled its global workforce since the start of 2020. Doubled its workforce since 2020. Went from 800,000 to 1.6 million. That's kind of like such a big number. It's almost hard to get your head around. Profits have also increased, and bigger profits could be on the horizon because they're raising Prime subscription price for the first time since 2018 from $139 to $119. So I want to start there.
Yep.
They're
raising from $119 to $139.
Sorry, yeah. So they're raising it to $139.
Got it. A
year. When you saw this, I've asked a couple of people this, and I'm just kind of curious. When you saw that it was going to raise by $20, what was your initial reaction?
Yawn. Let's move on.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of their model, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. What am I going to do? Cancel my subscription and now get things in a week as opposed to 2 days? I can't do that.
Yeah. Well, and I think that once you understand the cost of shipping, you really understand the value proposition. And as a side note, if you have Amazon Prime, you should run out and go watch Reacher. It is outstanding. I know that's totally off topic, but
that's okay.
I've asked several different people of that increase, and every one of them was just like, that was literally the collective. So I think that's a good move. And then the other one, and this sort of to our marketing and advertising world, is Amazon revealed the size of its advertising unit for the first time, bringing in $31 billion in revenue last year. It's a bigger business than YouTube.
Wow,
that blew me away, and I wanted to see what you thought.
I'm writing this down so I can remember. As anybody knows who's ever talked to me about this podcast, I don't remember one word we talked about the second we stopped recording. Kirby doesn't either. So I got to write, when Kirby brings up a topic, I got to write it down for the writing of the whole thing, or I'll forget. Bigger than YouTube. That's amazing. Okay, that surprises me because, there are certain things, I'm sure, maybe not, but there are certain phrases when I go do something, I hear your voice because I've learned it from you. One of them is, the second leading search engine is YouTube. Every time I go to YouTube, I hear a little Kirby Hasseman in my brain telling me that. And maybe you have some experiences with that with certain phrases you say that I've given you, but then that's neither here nor there. That surprises me because here's the thing about Amazon, and especially with their video segment. I'm sure Reacher's great. I haven't seen it yet, but their offerings suck. I mean, comparatively speaking, if you compare them to even Hulu, Paramount Plus, certainly to Netflix, they're terrible. I mean, half the things on there are for rent or pay. I don't know. I mean, Amazon Prime, as much as I love it for the shipping and all that, and it gives you access to Amazon videos, the video part of it is extraordinarily clunky. I don't know what I get for free, what I don't get for free. It's a very confusing interface, which shocks me given a company with the size of Amazon and how good they are about separating you from your money and creating a user experience. Their video user experience blows. So it surprises me that their ad revenue for that, for everything is larger than YouTube. That's amazing.
Well, a couple of things. I think that some of these larger businesses, we lose sight of the idea that there's multiple revenue streams, right? Like we talked about Peloton last week, and you were talking about how clunky it was. And it's like, but they have multiple revenue streams. Obviously we talked about the merch, but their monthly recurring revenue is really interesting. And I think This is a piece where you're like, okay, the ad piece, it wouldn't even have occurred to me that it was as significant as it was. Now, as a side note, when I look at Amazon Prime, the entertainment side of it, it doesn't bother me at all. And partly because I don't feel like I'm paying for it. You know what I mean? Like I literally log in. I'm like, oh, I forgot that was a thing that I already got. And let me just tell you, Reacher makes it all worth it.
Okay. And here's the thing. I don't disagree with you. I'm comparing them to companies that have built a platform intentionally to deliver streaming entertainment.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's really not a fair comparison because Amazon Prime is a video service and a music service is kind of a, let's go ahead and do that too.
I agree.
What they do, they're a logistics company. They move boxes from one place to another and make people happy. So it's just it's very obvious to me they have not focused on that experience from a user perspective.
Cool.
Just an observation.
All right,
stuff,
man.
Kirby.
That's good
stuff. All right, Kirby. I don't know if you saw this. M&M updated their branding, including their mascots, to put inclusivity front and center. Okay. So the little M&M's characters and all that. So
I saw it was good. They were going to. I saw they were announcing it, but I never saw what it looked like. So
yeah, they have done it. I mean, it's some of it's subtle, but most of it's subtle, to be honest with you. So the ampersand between M&M will be used more prominently. It's going to double as a point of connection between the two M's and a symbol of how the brand can unite people. Okay. Mascots got a modernized look with as well as makeovers, drawing out their quote unquote nuanced personalities in celebration of self-expression. Okay. The marketing is going to focus more on unifying messages while preserving M&M's established sense of humor. And backing this whole overhaul to this is the only one where I raise a little bit of an eyebrow and I want to talk about it. It just is weird the way they frame this up. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop myself. Stop the show. Tell me what you think about just what I've told you so far about changing the mascots for inclusivity. Yep. And the thought behind that. What do you think?
I think that it feels like, and I haven't seen what they've done, but it sounds like based on what what you've said and what I've heard, that, like you said, it was fairly subtle, and I think that's smart. You don't want to make it cartoonish. Like, it's obviously a cartoon, but you don't want to make fun of it. So the idea that an organization would update to celebrate inclusivity, and if they do it well, I don't see how it could, I think it's wonderful. I think we're seeing more and more people who say, when a character on television looks like me, then I feel more a part of the discussion. And I think that's great. I'm actually having those discussions with my clients right now about their marketing. And it's exciting to go, hey, let's do better about this on purpose. And so my first reaction to this is great. I think that's a good idea.
I think your first reaction is the right reaction. I think it's great. And what I really, really, really love about this, and we do logo design here, so this is not a commercial for Brand Debate, but when we do a logo design, we're very intentional about what everything means. And what I love about this, the way they explain what everything means, how the ampersand is going to connect the M's as a symbol of uniting people. I love all of that stuff. So it was very subtle. I think it's great. You look at the old mascots, every single one of them, their legs were white. So I think subtly changing that to a more rainbow look, a little more look like our society is good. I love that it's intentional. Here's where it got a little weird for me, though, and I'm not criticizing. It just feels like, okay, now you're pandering to me. They're backing the overhaul with a commitment to, quote, increase a sense of belonging for 10 million people globally by 2025. I have no idea what that word salad even means. I had to really dig deep there. I mean, how do you create a sense of belonging for 10 million people, which is a small amount globally, quite frankly, by 2025? So I did a little deeper, and I wish they wouldn't have said that. I wish they would say, we're establishing, because this is what it really means. We're establishing an M&M's fund to financially support, to mentor, and provide resources in the arts and entertainment industry. Okay, now that's interesting to me. I think that's wonderful. But this whole, we're going to increase a sense of belonging for 10 million people globally by 2025. Man, some junior Birdman in marketing got a hold of that and created that horse shit, because that just makes zero sense. And it makes it feel like the whole thing is pandering. And I really think it's a lovely thing they've done.
Yeah, I think it is funny how just say it right? Like that would be like, I think Bill and Kirby's advice to PR, that would be the mirror of Nike's just do it. Like, you didn't just say it, just say what you want to do. And when you do that, it's actually pretty clear and pretty interesting. Like when you said the second one, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I had no idea what the hell you were talking about on the first. They were trying to say something without saying it. And that, yeah, I agree with you. I think that was weird.
To quote the great Steve Martin in one of my all-time favorite movies, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, when he's kind of upset with Del Griffith, here's a good idea. When you tell a story, have a point. It makes it so much more interesting for the listener. All right, Kirby, you got another topic for us?
Okay. Let's just see here. I'll make this one quick. So we've been talking about NFTs. So we all want souvenirs, right? So the Super Bowl is actually going to dive into essentially the power of digital keepsakes for promotional purposes. This week, the NFL announced it will give Super Bowl 56 attendees a unique keepsake. Fans will receive virtual commemorative tickets in the form of NFTs. So we've talked a little bit about this. I think it was, I thought this caught my attention when I saw the headline. I wanted to know your take on the Super Bowl giving out NFTs to those in attendance.
I think we're all trying to figure this out. I mean, it is the most, I like to think of myself as a reasonably intelligent person. It is one of the most complicated, complex things I've really I can remember trying to wrap my brain around. Every time most education I'm able to build. I learn a little bit more. With NFTs, I've listened to Meg Erber, and she speaks eloquently about it. I've listened to Jeremy Picker, who also speaks eloquently about it. Lisa Fosdick, eloquently about it. And I feel like every time I look at what an NFT is, I'm starting at square one. I feel very stupid about it. And I don't know if it's just a brain block by me or not. That's actually not the question you asked. So let me answer the question.
No, it's good.
I think it's great because I think we're all trying. I guess my point is we're all trying to figure it out. It's certainly something that is trendy, not necessarily a bad word, but it's trendy. It's top of mind. And why not do something like that? Why not get on that bandwagon? Because there is something there. And I mean, I do kind of understand it, but I always feel like, okay, I got to get my head. I have to really get back into this to understand it every time. That's fair. But I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I'm with you in the sense that I think what it is it's not that you have to relearn it. It's that you have to get into that headspace. You have to that's sort of put that on and then go, okay, that's how this makes sense. And for me, I think if you went to the Super Bowl, right? If you actually had a ticket, you would keep it. You'd put it in your little posters behind you. That would be a keepsake. So doing that in a digital form, I actually think makes a ton of sense because it is like one of the ways I explain it to people is like, oh, it's like a digital baseball card, right? It's so Absolutely. The idea of doing it in a form that people already do, but doing a digital version of that, I think is a really interesting way to go about it. And doing it on the Super Bowl is such a, like, if you want to get it more mainstream, that's the best way to get it more mainstream. So I thought it was super clever.
You said something, one of the things, I'm a big music guy. I've gone to, I don't know how many concerts I've gone to in my life. And one of my biggest laments is you don't get concert tickets anymore. You get them on your phone. It's a QR code and so on and so forth. What an interesting way, if artists are smart, they would start retro printing digitally those old school Ticketmaster tickets that you get as a keepsake for maybe you pay $3 extra for it, $5 extra, an additional revenue stream for the artist. Certainly a keepsake for me. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, if you didn't buy a t-shirt and didn't show someone your ticket, you didn't go. That's right. Yeah. So I think there's something there. And you again, the more we talk about this as an industry, the more I talk about it individually, the more I learn about it, the more I really do understand and get it. I get it. I just struggle to sometimes see the applications, but this is a cool one. I like it. I like it a lot. All right. Do you have any more, or do you want to do something fun? What do you want to do, Kirby? You want to wrap this?
I have the fun at the end. Did you want to do anything before that, or are we good?
I think we're good. Okay. So just dear listener, we're kind of shifting things up a little bit as we like to do on the podcast. We're trying to, the party in the back is no longer going to be let's grill Kirby like a cheese sandwich, or let's trip up Bill. We might do that on occasion. We're just changing it up. So more than often than not, we're just going to have more of a fun marketing topic in the back, kind of something goofy that we're seeing. And I think Kirby has that today. And that's not to say we won't do goofy stuff like we've done before. We're just changing it up.
Yeah. And thank you, by the way, for being willing to do that, because as Bill knows, what he's not saying is that I was starting to, it was starting to become a grind on me. And though I don't want to complain about it, it was starting to weigh on me that I was trying to do it every week. And so keeping it fresh is really important, I think, when you're doing stuff like this. So I appreciate your flexibility with that.
No, yours too. And maybe this is a quick sub talk before we jump into your thing.
Yeah.
I think Kirby and I we've done this podcast for almost 100 episodes. We did unscripted for over 200. So that's essentially, we've been doing a podcast every week for about 6 years. That's not easy. And so we've always had a couple of rules. Number one, if either one of us don't want to do it, that's the end of it. No one gets replaced. That's the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
Number two, if either one of us start getting bored with something starts feeling like this is really starting to be painful, we're going to adjust, because if we're feeling it, other people are probably feeling it too. And so, as much fun as we had with the quote unquote party in the back in the game, man, some weeks that's like a 2-hour prep.
Oh, big time,
and that's no joke. That is no joke. So we're just trying to keep it fresh. That's not or longer. Yeah. So right now we're just playing with the format a little bit. If there's something you'd like to see or hear, let us know.
Yeah, I think that's a great way of putting it. And I think there's a lesson there for folks who are creating content, because I think
fresh.
Keep it fresh, keep it fun for yourself. Otherwise you won't keep doing it. And one of the things we talk about all the time is consistency. And so it's hard to be consistent with something you don't like doing. So I think there's something there. So this is just a topic.
Kirby, you got a fun topic.
This is just a topic. I'm going to start with the quote, right?
Yeah.
You come with a smile on your face and you leave with a bigger smile on your face.
What
Andy Johnson
parlor is that? Oh,
yeah. Andy Johnson is the founder of Love Cloud, a company that will take you and your partner on a private 45-minute Mile High Club flight for $995. Yes, it's exactly what it sounds like, complete with twin mattresses, pillows, and a pilot who wears noise-canceling earphones. So Love Cloud is a new company that you can take part in. I just think I thought this was hilarious. So number one, what do you think of the concept? Number two, when are you booking a flight for you and Sandy?
So great questions, Kirby. Thank you so much for knowing to ask. The first thing I think of is, at this age, at my advanced age, the thought of having a specific time and place where I need to be, how do I put this? I need to be at attention. Makes me tense just thinking about now. Again, we got 45 minutes. Let's go. It's an interesting concept. I don't think the price is outlandish. I don't, it's not for everybody. I don't think it's for me personally, quite honestly.
Yeah.
I have too many questions about what about sheets, and it just feels a little. It's one thing. It just feels. Here's the thing. It feels a little seedy.
You think?
Because it's expressly for a certain purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like going into a hotel room where all sorts of weird, wild stuff's happen. It's generally that's just a byproduct of being in a hotel room sometimes.
Right.
This is a vehicle, quite literally, for a specific action.
Right.
So I'll be booking my flight. What's the name of that website again?
It is called Love Cloud.
Love Cloud. Right.
Say that for the listeners too,
Yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's an interesting way to go.
I think that we have officially gotten to a point where we have more money than sense. It
shows us we don't really have problems in this country.
Exactly right. Because you're right. I actually thought when I saw it, I was like, oh, so just under $1,000. There are a lot of people who are like, just for the experience, that would be worth it. I've spent more on dumber stuff. So from my perspective, what you got to do is figure out a way to get Love Cloud to take you to Mexico, Love Cloud to take you to your vacation spot. So you build that into the entire experience. Then I think it's really something interesting.
And you build
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, please.
So the side note is, and this is what I was going to ask you, but I thought I could go off the rails. But we could certainly have our listeners do it in the comments, is what promotional items would we use to promote it?
That's what I was about to say. You should have some on there. You should have a bottle of wine from A+ Wine. You should have some glassware, maybe from J. Charles, and also some condoms from Condoms for You or whomever does that in our industry. All right, Kirby, the Super Bowl is this weekend. Let's real quick, just for fun. This is, again, this is just kind of fun, real quick. We're not allowed to call it the Super Bowl because the NFL would likely sue us. So screw them. It's the Super Bowl. I'm not calling it the big game. I'm always fascinated with prop bets, the weird bets you can make. So just real quick, let's just run through these just for fun. This should take literally a minute and a half. All right, Kirby, length of the national anthem performed by country music artist Mickey Guyton. I've never heard of him. Shows you how old I am. Over a minute 35 or under a minute 35?
Over a minute 35.
I'm going to say under. I'm going to say under because he's a country artist.
I agree. It does change it a little bit, but you get one opportunity to do the Super Bowl. You're going to drag it out.
You may. I don't know. Will any scoring drive take less time than it takes to sing the national anthem? Yes or no?
Yes.
I agree. Coin toss. Heads or tails, Kirby?
Heads.
I go tails. All right. First team to score a touchdown, Rams or Bengals?
I'm going to go Rams.
I'm doubling down. I agree with you. All right, company. Which company airs the first commercial after the coin toss? Bud Light, Budweiser, Coke, Hyundai, Skittles, M&M's, Kia, or The Field?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Bud Light. I'll go Hyundai.
Okay. I'm going The Field. I'm going to take The Field on that one. So anybody not mentioned. Okay. Which celebrity will be shown first during the game? Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, J-Lo, or Kim Kardashian?
God, I could care less. Let's see.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm going to go Leonardo DiCaprio.
I went Leo as well. Will a kicker hit the upright or crossbar on a missed field goal or extra point? Yes or no?
The one that goes across or just the whole bar?
The whole thing.
Yeah, I'll say yes.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. Will a non-quarterback throw a touchdown pass? Yes or no?
Yeah, you do have a couple players who could do it. I'm going to say no.
I went no as well. A couple more real quick. How many times will the phrase home field advantage be mentioned during the broadcast? Over 1.5 times or under 1.5 times?
I was going to say over 100 times. It's going to be so over that number.
Oh, Michaels is going to be, home field advantage for your Los Angeles Rams. Why does Al Michaels talk like Kermit the Frog? That's beside the point. All right, Kirby, what colored Gatorade will be poured on the winning coach? Orange, clear water, orange. Let's say orange, water, nothing. Yellow, blue, red, or purple?
I'm going blue.
I'm going clear. I am going clear. Kirby's going blue. All right. Last one, Kirby. Will Joe Burrow be shown smoking a cigar at the end of the game? Yes or no?
That's a great one. I'm rooting for the Bengals, so I'm going to say yes. I think it's a terrible matchup for Cincinnati. I'm rooting for Joe, but yeah.
Okay. So who wins the game, Kirby? You say Rams?
I want the Bengals to win, but I think that it's a bad matchup.
I'm struggling here. I love the Bengals. I love Joe Burrow. But I also really like Matt Stafford a ton. He's a Dallas guy. He was marooned in that horrible franchise. One of the two worst franchises when it comes to playoff football is the Lions or my beloved Dallas Cowboys for the last 25 years. That's fact, by the way. So I'm kind of struggling between the two. I want the Bengals to win, but I think the Rams are going to do it. All right, Kirby. But you know who's always going to do it for you? That's our good pal, Jason Noakes at Promo Pulse and that AMP marketing service. You ready to amp up your sales? Woo! Let's amp up those sales. Amp it up, amp it up, amp it up. Amp it up. That's right. If you're interested in getting your sales amped up for the year, set it, forget it. Great product to help you market your business. It's set it and forget it. We've talked about that. We talked about the testimonial. Kirby's used it. Someone from Robin Promotions used it and got a $10,000 plus order. Folks, this stuff works. Head over to promopulse.io/amp. You're not going to be sorry you did. Kirby, enjoy that guacamole this weekend during the Super Bowl.
That's right.